Right. If you remember, last time we learned this. We're learning the Sicha, a speech that the Rebbe of Lubavitch gave, and right in the end of 1991. And in it, he's talking about what exactly happened when with Yaakov, when he took all these stones and put it under his head, and then all the stones united and they became one. And then he poured oil on top of them, and he called them a house. And then he went and he met up with Lavan, and he had to work there for 20 years for Leah and for Rachel. And after he leaves Lavan, we're going to see that he goes and he meets up with Esav. That's going to be next week. And all this time, Esav has been running after him anyway, trying to kill him. So he's 20 years. He's been by Lavan in a place called Haran, which is the worst place in the world for as far as honesty and Judaism is concerned. Best place in the world for cheating and trickery. So Yaakov goes there and he works for all this time. It says that it explains in Chassidut that why did he do this? Because specifically by being in such a situation, as it could bring out new powers from him. And because he was the father of all the Jewish people, so he was giving these powers down to the Jewish people. What are these powers? The power to transform the world. First of all, to not be affected negatively by the world, and then to actually transform the world. And that's what he did. He took the Leah and Rachel and all the 12 tribes, he took them out of Haran. So this is this new power which is revealed to the Jewish people. The Jewish people have not really used this in a big way. This is going to be the power that's going to eventually bring Moshiach. But now we're going to start to use it. This is what's called so therefore we can say the main revelation of this power is in Torah Chasidut. Chasidut, which was begun by the Baal Shem Tov and carried on this idea of total self-sacrifice to bring the highest unity of God into the physical world. In order to do this, it started in the month of Kislev. Kislev is the third month of the winter. And the Jewish calendar, there's two New Year's. One New Year's is the month of the first of the months. That's the month of Nisan. And then there's the first of the days, which is on the other side of the calendar, which is the first of Tishrei. That's the first day of the year. So if we count from the month of Tishrei, that's the beginning of the solar year. So then it comes up to the third month of the year is the month of Kislev. There's Tishrei, Cheshvan, and Kislev. The Kislev is the third month of the winter. This corresponds to the month of Sivan. Sivan is 3 months after Nisan. In Nisan we got out of Egypt, right? Nisan is Passover. So that's when we got out of Egypt. The third month, the third month from when we got out of Egypt, that's the month of Sivan. HaChodesh HaShlishi, this is the third month of the summer, Sivan. Shlishi Harihu Kashur in Matan Torah. The third, number 3, is connected with the giving of the Torah. The third month from Passover, that's when we received the Torah. The third month from Rosh Hashanah, that's the third month of the winter, we received the inside of the Torah. This is the month of Matan Torah. Gilia Torah Tanigla. Chodesh Kislev, the month of Kislev, this is the time when the inside of the Torah was revealed, the secret of the Torah. That's the ideas of Hasidut. Take the inside of the ideas of the Torah, the mysteries of the Torah, and make them practical to day-to-day life. When you're working in your store, when you're with your family, when this month of Kislev, Yeshnom Kami Yamim Yuchadim, there are several special days. There's Yutes Kislev. That's the day when the first Rebbe of Chabad got out of prison. We'll talk about that when the time comes, but the first Rebbe of Chabad, he was put in prison by his religious enemies, other religious Jews, that they didn't like this idea of revealing mysteries. They thought that Judaism has to be a purely intellectual, religious, orderly hierarchy of intellect, whoever understands the most, like a university. And the Alter Rebbe said, no, Judaism is revealing God everywhere in the world to everybody. And everybody has their own place in the Torah. The non-Jews have the 7 Noahide commandments, but the main thing is to feel God. And the only way that you can actually feel God, the Creator, is through these revealing the Torah, the inside of the Torah. Miyaseh the Torah to Hasidut Chabad. He founded Torah to Hasidut Chabad. This is Rosh Hashanah Chasidut. This is the Rosh Hashanah of Chasidut. If you do it like it's known, this is the New Year's Day of Chasidut. The birth of Chasidut is really Yud Kislev, because before that, it was only confined just to the Hasidim, and also that was only revealed in very, very mysterious sort of ways, messages. And after the first Rebbe of Chabad, he got out of prison, right? His enemies made up a story and told the Russian government that he was trying to make a rebellion against them, and they put him into prison for 53 days. Eventually, they realized he was not only innocent, but he was a holy person, and they let him go. That's considered to be, then his teachings became totally different. He taught in a much longer, more developed and more explained way. Can you do it like it's known? It's then, after Peterburg, so that's when the wellspring started to spread out. There was Tet Kislev, that was like 2 days ago. That was the day of the birth and the passing away of the second Rebbe of Chabad. That's what this whole speech is in honor of. Then there's Yud Kislev, that was yesterday, the day that the second Rebbe of Chabad, he got out of prison for somewhat similar charges as the first Rebbe. Also Chanukah, and this month is Chanukah, at the end of the month, Kislev. There's also a connection to revealing the inside of the Torah. Even the inside of the miracle of Hanukkah is the miracle of oil. The oil of the Torah, that's what's called the secrets of the Torah. And you're supposed to light the Hanukkah menorah on the opening of your house on the outside. That's what it says in the Mishnah. In a way that the revelation of the secrets of the Torah should shine even outside. What's the connection to all this? What's all the connection to all this? And the difference between the month of Kislev, which is the month of the winter, and the month of Sivan, which is the month of the summer. In other words, the month of Sivan was when the revealed Torah was given. And the month of Kislev is when the hidden Torah was given. The difference between the two of them is that one appears in the summer and the other in the winter. The revealed Torah, which is Sivan, that is in the summer months. This is the month of Kislev, is the winter months. Chodesh Chorev, the months of the winter, they are days of rain. In Israel, rain, in Israel, it only rains in the winter months. It's not like in America, you can have rain in the middle of the summer. In Israel, there are certain months where there's rain. Rarely, occasionally, it overlaps maybe a month or two, but that's very, very rare. And the months of the rain, that's when we start to pray for rain also. Rain, where does rain come from? Rain comes from below. It comes from evaporation, rain. First of all, there comes evaporation from the earth, and then it rains, right? One of the reasons it doesn't rain in the desert is because there's no evaporation. It's all dry there. So there's no rain. Places that there's a lot of water from below as there's rain. Rain comes from below, evaporation. Like it says, Ki loim tir Hashem Elokim ala oretz va'aram ayin la'avodat adam ve'ed ya'aleh min ha'oretz v'yishka et penei adama. It says right in the beginning of creation that there was no rain in the world. God created the whole world and there was no rain. Interesting sentence. It says that God created the world, but nothing grew because there was no rain. Why there was no rain? Because there was no man to work on the ground. As soon as God created, and Rashi says, because there was no man to pray for rain. As soon as man came on the ground, as evaporation went up from the earth, and it irrigated the whole world. So we see that rain starts from below. The Rebbe spoke about this in the previous Sicha also, if you remember, which is not the case in the month of the summer. In the summer, there's no rain. In Israel, there's no rain in the summer months. That's mainly it with tal, dew. Dew is something that automatically, you wake up in the morning, early and even in the summer, and you see that the fields can be covered with dew. Davka be'inyan agashamim, specifically with rain. The rain is talking about what we do from below, the physical world. Specifically in the winter months, when those are the months of rain, that is really mudgeshes the shlemus achibur. That's really stressing the true essence of what man is, connecting the highest worlds with the lowest worlds. First of all, the lowest worlds with the highest. Our efforts from below. It says the mist goes up, evaporation goes up from the world, up. That's the work that we do. That symbolizes the work that we do toward God, the Creator. Mina oretz from the earth goes up above an aid, goes up a mist, which is a very fine element, a mist. And this indicates that it is attached to Gidrei Atachton. The mist comes up from the world, comes up from us. And then after that, the rain comes down from above. From above to below. Rain comes down from clouds in heaven, but in a way that it inundates and irrigates the whole world. Heim mashkim et kol haaretz. So in other words, from our efforts, this symbolizes that from our efforts, from below to above, if we're serving the creator of the universe, is there's a result that God brings down blessing from above to below, the physical world. Kafi, sheteva, amashke, just like water is. What is water? That water, shemetzios asherhu nogeabo nasit svuga legamri b'mashke. What's the water? Water, usually, unless it's some sort of a special material, anything that's put into water soaks up the water. And it soaks up the water to a degree that the thing becomes like a sponge. It becomes completely filled with liquid. So if so, that's this whole idea of Torah. Like it says, Ein mayim ela Torah. There is no water except for Torah. It talks over there, it says that Joseph's brothers threw him into a pit, and the pit was empty and there wasn't any water in it. That's a sentence in the Torah. Abor reik ein bo mayim. The pit was empty, there was no water. And so it asks in the Talmud, if it says it was empty, why do you have to say there was no water in it? Of course there was no water. If it was empty, just say the pit was empty. What does the Torah have to add? And there was no water. So it says, it indicates that there was no water, but there were other things in there. What? Snakes and scorpions were there. The Torah, then it explains in the later, it continues and says, and what does this tell us? It says there's no, Torah is water. Ein mayim ela Torah. Like it says, anyone who's thirsty, come to the water. Call it It says, anyone who's thirsty, let them come to water. It's a sentence from what Isaiah. Anyone who's thirsty, come to the water. It says there's no water except for Torah. So this whole idea that we're talking about rain coming down, this is talking about Torah. Especially the revelation of Torah Chasidut, the ideas of Hasidic ideas of the Torah in the month of Kislev. She, Seichel Adam, that a human mind, physicality, Hametziut Agashmit Shel Olam, that the whole world, just like if there's water soaks into things, makes them wet, so also rain makes the ground wet, as the ideas of Torah are supposed to permeate our whole being. May data Torah, like it says, the waters of pure awareness of God. Da Elokei Avicha, you should know the God of your fathers. Ad and Laofen Shel Kula Mashke, the whole thing is liquid. The whole world, Kol Olam, the whole world will be chadur, will be permeated, the safug, and it will be filled up like a sponge. A sponge soaks up water. It's filled with water, with godliness. The world will be filled with godliness. Mala Oretz Deas Hashem. The world will be filled with the knowledge of God, like water fills the sea, the ocean. Just like the ocean is filled with water, it's covered with water, is also the same thing. And there's no ocean without water. Also the same thing, the world will be filled with the awareness of God, because there is no world without God. God is creating the whole world from nothing all the time. Kafi, like it says, and a reveal, Begila Amitis L'Shlim, like it's going to be in the future redemption. V'yesh lo sif, and we can also add on, Shadavar Hazeh, that this indicates the month of Kislev. That's the word Kislev. The letters of Kislev are Kes, Lo. Kes, Lo. What does this mean? That's the letter Kes, Lo. Kes means a covering. Lo means to him. So what's this got to do? Let's see. Shadargos elokus, that the levels of godliness, that they are in a way of kes, covering, covered, mechusa mitzad atzmam, biyosam mistar, the Kodesh Baruch Hu, because they are misatim, the Kodesh Baruch Hu, because they're from the hiddenness of God. In the month of Kislev, because that's when Hasidut was revealed, when the first Rebbe of Chabad got out of prison, Yutet Kislev, that these levels of the Torah, which we said Torah is water, will be revealed in this world. They won't be cased, they won't be covered over, but they'll be low, Lamed Vav. Lamed Vav is the gematria of the numerical value of 36. 36 is Eile. Eile means these, something that's revealed. Hamor, which indicates on total revelation. The Midot, because what is Eile? Eile is 36. 36 is 6 times 6 is 36. 6 means the 6 main emotions of God. And each one of them contains 6. So that shows that they're being revealed. Lo means it's revealed. 6 times 6, all the emotions of God in all of their completion are being revealed. That's the purpose of Hasidut, to show that God is not only concealed, hidden from us, mysterious, spiritual, but even more that God is actually infinitely close to us. He's creating us, and he's creating us for a purpose. He is our life, he's our whole being. We're nothing separate from him. That's the message of the Jews. God is one. So that was all the purpose. That's the Torah. This can only be accomplished through the Torah. The Torah there's nothing ever been like it. I mean, there's nothing. Look in the history books. I don't know if there's any history book at all that that actually describes what happened properly in the Torah. I mean, there, the history books describe, what Napoleon did and what the different kings of England did, and this one deposed this one, and what happened in France and the revolution. This comes to the most important event by far in the history of the whole world, and it's just maybe given a little mention or something. like, they say nowadays that Twitter and these other, they block somebody's account. Well, that's pretty much, that's what's been for the giving of the Torah, the true story of what happened when the Torah was given. That account has been blocked to the world for like the last 3,300 years since the Torah was given. What really happened when the Torah was given? God gave himself. He revealed the reason, the laws of what's right and what's wrong in the world. That's what the Torah is. But it's concealed. That's concealed. That's the case. It's concealed. In the month of Kislev, when it's the first Rebbe of Chabad started revealing these secrets in a practical, user-friendly way, that it could be used to see the oneness of God in everything that we do and everything we say, everything we think. That's called Lo. That's the revelation Lamed Vav. In the revelation of the Torah's Chasidus Atzmo, Nif'al Chibur Shal Ruchnis V'Gashmis B'Ofen Miuchad Al Yedei Ofen Gilui Chasidus Ad Memtzoi. Now we're getting back to the subject of this speech the Rebbe is given, namely the second Rebbe of Chabad was born on the same date that 54 years later he would pass away. The same, right? So his date of birth and the date of his passing was exactly the same date. So these ideas we talked about, revealing God in the world in this practical way, in the most revealed ways, the inner secrets, what was covered to make it low, to be revealed. This was especially, and in the month of Kislev, this was especially done in a very, very unique way by the second Rebbe of Chabad. We said the whole thing began with the first Rebbe of Chabad when he got out of prison in Yud Tes Kislev. Well, it was a few years later that his son was also put into prison, and he also was released in the month of Kislev. And in his case, it was the 10th day of Kislev. It's known that the revelation of the teachings of Chabad was in a very organized and orderly way. Each and every one of our pupils, of our rabbis, revealed and brought about another level in this revelation. In other words, bring it more close to the world. Like it is anytime you reveal new ideas to someone. Right? A person has a new idea, an invention, he thinks the idea, and then it becomes, somebody develops it further and develops it further. Says, nevertheless, who can accept on himself to discern and put tags on different levels of Chassidut, all the Rebbes of Chabad, this is the wisdom of God. So how can you make a distinction between one level of God and another? Nevertheless, our rabbis, they did reveal it, Chassidut, in a gradual way. And they were the ones that gave these tags. It says the first Rebbe of Chabad, it corresponds to 10 levels of the soul. The first Rebbe of Chabad, he was the beginning. That's the level called Chachma. He revealed the seed, what the Chassidut is, in a way of a point. The second Rebbe of Chabad, he was like the aspect of Bina. He took these ideas of Chabad and he took the seed, this point of what Chassidut is, that there's nothing except for God, and God creates the world for a purpose, and he expanded it. He gave Bir Rachab a very long and wide explanation until it could be spread out far away. It says there were times when he would say a Hasidic discourse for 13 hours, 14 hours, he would speak, and the pupils remembered everything. The Dugs Man Nar, like the waters of a river that are drawn from a spring. Ella Shabanar, but in a river, it says that the spring, that's like the source, but the river, it spreads out. And that was like the second Rebbe of Chabad. He took the ideas of Chassidut and he spread them out. Like we can see in the Maimorim. So in Chassidus, that the ideas of Chassidus of the first Rebbe of Chabad, they came in a tremendous revelation. The Pashtut Varchava and the second Rebbe. Second Rebbe was the son of the first Rebbe. And he also had tremendous, amazing talents, and he was a very holy person. They said that one time he was praying, and that when he would pray in the morning, that the person who was cleaning the room, right, would be able to just move him like a piece of furniture from one place to the other. He was completely oblivious to anything in the world. So therefore, in order that you can take these ideas of the first Rebbe of Chabad, these wonderful, deep ideas which were revealed, but they were revealed in a very concentrated way, in order that this unity between an idea, between our understanding and the idea, in our case, the unity between our mind and God, the understanding of the workings of God, by learns of the Chassidut, as it's not enough just this little point of the Alter Rebbe. You also have to have the understanding. Wideness, it has to be explained. And similarly, we can also understand the connection between spiritual and physical, godliness, and not just our mind, but with the world that's made by means of Chassidut. That the completion of this was made by means of not only Chachma, the point of wisdom, but also Bina, understanding. And that was the main thing of the second Rebbe of Chabad. It wasn't like in the second Rebbe of Chabad, like it's known, Divrei Tzemach Tzedek Alav, he said, Ba'im hayu chotchim oto, they said, the third Rebbe of Chabad, he was the grandson of the first Rebbe. He said that if you would cut the second Rebbe's hand, his finger, then blood wouldn't come out, but Chassidut would come out. Namely, that his physical life, even his physical blood, it says, was filled with Chassidut. In other words, he was only concerned with the oneness of God. That's all he thought about. And that's really all there is the oneness of God. Right? Sometimes you get like great professors or great musicians or great artists. And also, there's people who are in sports, at least the time when and 24/7, that's all they think about. They're really good at it, and they devote all their time, their energy, and it touches the essence of their soul. So that they're always thinking about music, or they're always thinking about physics, or they're always thinking about art, or everything they see, everything they hear, they translate it into a picture or into a song. And that's only talking about physical things, how a person can be inspired by these things, authors. But really, everything is made from God. God is creating everything from nothing. But this is a tremendous mystery, as the Rebbes of Chabad were occupied in this mystery all the time. And it's even a bigger mystery, not just the mystery of the godliness, but the mystery of how to get this across to the world. That everyone in the world, including the non-Jews, should also feel this oneness of God to various degrees. Says that's why they said if we would cut his finger, it's what would pour out would be Chassidut. That was his whole life. Yesh Lomar, we can say the reason for this of the second Rebbe, that he was permeated with these ideas of Chassidut, and he was what's called the widening of the river of Bina, understanding. This is not just spreading out, it's and of this little point of wisdom, but what it is also drawn down from the source of Bina. It's not just that the second Rebbe of Chabad took the ideas of the first Rebbe and he was inspired by them. And he just explained them. No, he was inspired by the same source that the first Rebbe was inspired by. But he just used this source and expressed it in a different way. He explained the ideas that were already put forth by the first Rebbe. Because you have to remember, the first Rebbe of Chabad, he was not making up new ideas. He was just revealing what was there. It's almost like, somebody discovers it. Columbus discovers America, and then other people come, and it's not that they discover somewhere new. They discover the same fact that was there, but they develop it more. It's more developed. But the same discovery they discovered just like the first. It just happens that the first person discovered it first, but they just discovered the fact. The first Rebbe of Chabad discovered how godliness permeates the world, creates the world, and creates it for a purpose. The second Rebbe just expanded on the same discovery. He made the same discovery and he'd expanded on it. In other words, he also came from the essence of godliness. Therefore, there is in their power, lechaber, they can join the physical with the spiritual because they are above both of them. Exactly, this revelation of the main essence of God comes below. From the highest place, a Meitzar, from the lowest place, from a Meitzar, Karate Yudke, Anib Mirchav, because they came from this physical world, they were physical people in the physical world, as therefore they were able to bring down these, to get the essence of what the physical world is, and to express these highest ideas in the world. Yesh Lomar, we can say, Shazeo, that this is also the reason why the Rebbe, the first Rebbe, is called Admor Emtsa'i. What does it mean, the Mittler Rebbe, the middle Rebbe is called? In Hebrew, the word Emtsa'i means, the connotation is a means for something else, a connector, a Emtsa'i. This is like a tool. A tool is an Emtsa'i, right? If I want to to build a house, so I have tools. The tools are the Emtsa'im. They are the means by which. Emtsa'i, Mitzayin, means that it comes between the first and the third. It joins them together. The second Rebbe of Chabad, Emtsa'i, because he was the level what we call Bina, Chachma Bina Dat, he joined together. He was an Emtsa'i. He was a means to join together the Rebbe that was before him with the one that's after him. The first Rebbe is Admor Zaken, and the third one is the Tzemach Tzedek. They thought really the Tzemach Tzedek was going to be the Mashiach. He had all the qualifications of Mashiach. Why it didn't come out, I don't know. But Ofen Shabo Nichlalim Gimel Roshi Avot, in a way that would be contained Chachma Bin and Dat. In other words, the second Rebbe of Chabad, he was the one that joined together this point, the idea, the concept of what Chassidut is. That's Chachma, and the practicality of it to bring it into our emotions and to bring it into the world. That's the third Rebbe of Chabad. He was the link between them. Kevan Shabo Mitpateh Klolot Apolot. This is Chassidut Chabad, to join godliness with the world, and that's what the Rebbe is going to say. That this is signified, because we ran out of time, by the fact that he was born on the and passed away on the same date. In other words, it shows a completion in the world, in time, indicates a finishing a total cycle. And this is the whole cycle of God creating the world in order that we should reveal his oneness and unity in the world. A very, very difficult thing. We see it's taken already 5,700 years. But the way that it's brought about is by us, first of all, bringing it about in ourselves, learning these ideas of Chabad Hasidut, even a little bit, and unifying. It's a difficult process because everybody is different, and also they have their own nature. And we're not trying to destroy nature. We're trying to transform our nature to be more alive, more dynamic, more like God is. And so that's what we have to understand, that we too are just emtsaim. We are just means to bring this godliness into the world, that the whole world will go on different standards totally. Right? Nowadays, the standards of the world are, if you're successful, if you have money, if you're if you're attractive, if you're popular, if this, those are the things that are valuable in the world. Power. Life itself is not really that valuable in itself. Life is just a nothing. Those people who succeed, that's called life. If you can't succeed in that, so you get pleasure, but you have to have an outcome, pleasure. And then the world is going to be on a totally different standard of reality, that life itself will be valuable. Every moment of life will be a miracle. And that's why it says that eventually there'll be eternal life. There won't be any more death in the world. It'll be a whole total different source of meaning and inspiration that we'll have in the world, like people had when they went in the Holy Temple. Right? They would go to the Holy Temple. They would see and feel God. God never changes. You'd think that would be the most boring thing in the world. Exactly the opposite. This world that's always changing around, right? Like people, they get addicted to television because it's always changing. They have to have change all the time, right? They're addicted to things that are changing and changing and changing. But really, it's not. Nothing changes at all. Nothing changes, right? You finish watching a television, nothing changed. The screen didn't change. You watch a baseball game, nothing changed. What changed? The field didn't change. Nothing gets accomplished. People take drugs. What changed? Nothing changed. There's something eternal that's going on here in the world. Something that's very, very meaningful and alive, that gives life to everything and importance to everything there is in the world. And that's what Torah Hasidut tries to reveal. It's a difficult process, but the Rebbe says this process is finished. We are emtsaim. The second Rebbe of Chabad gave us the ability to be a means to reveal this in the world. Have a good Shabbat, God willing, on Sunday, 8:15. Shabbat Shalom.